You think of privacy as a basic human right. A door you can close, a room that's yours, a moment no one else can touch. But here's what they don't tell you: that feeling, that need, it's almost entirely invented. For 290,000 years, it didn't exist. Your ancestors slept in groups, ate in groups, gave birth in groups, had sex in groups, not because they had no shame, but because the alternative was death. Alone meant exposed. Alone meant prey. UCLA anthropologist Jared Diamond documented hunter-gatherer societies where parents didn't even bother hiding from their children, not out of neglect, because no one in the tribe had ever conceived of a reason to. The concept simply didn't exist. Then came cities, and something strange happened. The Greeks, brilliant as they were, actually engineered their homes using geometry, calculating the minimum exposure to public view. They wanted solitude. They craved it. But Rome looked at that and laughed. Roman elites threw open their homes like museums. High walls were a sign of weakness. The richer you were, the more of your life was on display. Most Romans lived in apartments so thin you could hear your neighbor breathing. Pliny the Elder wrote that great fortune, quote, opens up the bedrooms and intimate retreats of every man of power. Privacy wasn't a right, it was a liability. Even your bed wasn't yours. For over 1,000 years, the bed was the most expensive object in a home. Guests were invited to share it. Entire families, parents, children, servants slept in one room around a single fire. Internal walls didn't exist yet because walls blocked heat, and heat was survival. There wasn't even a word for privacy. Medieval Latin had privatio, meaning a taking away. Something removed, something lost. The man who actually invented modern privacy? A monk. When Christianity spread the idea that sin lived inside you in your intentions, not just your actions suddenly, you needed somewhere to be alone with your soul. Monks sealed themselves in stone cells, refused to speak, refused to leave, died alone and weren't found for days. Isolation became holy. And then, in 1215, the Catholic Church made confession mandatory across Europe and in one move forced an entire continent to develop an inner life. Privacy followed. Slowly, walls were built, rooms divided. By the Renaissance, the wealthy had studies' private rooms. By 1600, the very first personal diary appears. By 1890, 2 lawyers published the first legal argument for a right to privacy in the Harvard Law Review, triggered not by government overreach, but by newspapers printing people's photos without consent. Sound familiar? Here's the twist that should genuinely disturb you. We didn't evolve toward privacy, we stumbled into it. We invented it to survive disease, to satisfy the church, to protect wealth. And every time technology made transparency more convenient, people chose convenience. Postcards over sealed letters, party phone lines everyone could hear, social media where we broadcast our entire lives. The Google executive who co-invented the internet once said, and he meant it, that privacy may actually be an anomaly. He wasn't wrong. You are the historical exception. Your locked door, your private room, your closed curtains, you live in the one sliver of human history where those things were considered normal. That window may already be closed.